You might not give much thought to driving across railroad tracks unless you have to wait for a train. But government numbers show more folks die in train collisions than in plane crashes. The federal government tracks the places in your community where you're more likely to be hit by a train. Tonight, the News 4 I-Team's Nancy Amons working for you, naming the top 10 places in Middle Tennessee.
Anthony Coleman is still haunted by what his camera captured 4 years ago.
Right in front of my eyes.
Louisville, 4 high school soccer players are in this car. 3 of them die.
It was bad.
After witnessing that horrible crash, this retired CSS conductor started lobbying for rail safety. It's why the News 4 I-Team asked him to come to Middle Tennessee to take a look at some of our rail crossings. Crossings with the highest odds of a car or truck being hit by a train. Predictions made by the Federal Railroad Administration. They look at things like the crash history and the volume of traffic to calculate the likelihood of a crash.
They should put crossing gates here.
We took Coleman to Greenbrier, a town with 3 railroad crossings on the top 10 list for predicted crashes.
This is a very dangerous crossing.
This stretch of track had 7 crashes in 4 years. A driver was killed at this Main Street crossing in 2017.
Do you think this particular crossing is safe?
No.
Why?
Well, it's got a ridge over there on the other side, and when you come up, you can't really see.
So where are the other top 10 crossings? The number 1 location, Nesbitt Ln Madison. This is the spot where Joyce Taylor thought she was going to die.
I hear the train coming.
She asked us not to show her face. In 2016, Taylor was in this Toyota. She had pulled onto the tracks at Nesbitt Lane when the crossing gate came down on the back of her car.
I couldn't back up, I couldn't go forward. So I sit there, I sit there and I pray, and I'm holding on to the steering wheel, for dear life.
The train damaged the front end of her car, but she was okay. TDOT's rail safety expert says Metro and the railroad are making the Nesbitt Lane crossing safer.
And they're installing, again, some upgrades to the warning devices, such as upgraded railroad flashing signals, and also addressing the pavement markings.
Second on the list, Pitts Avenue in Lakewood, 3 collisions in 2 years. And watch what happens when we're rolling. Drivers make a right on a red light and stop on the tracks. This is Middle Tennessee Boulevard in Murfreesboro, 5th on the list. Watch how many people try to beat the train. Glenrose Avenue in Woodbine is 7. Number 8, Stewart's Ferry in Donaldson. 2 crossings in Lebanon are 9 and 10, South Cumberland Drive and Hartman Drive. Remember, Greenbrier has 3 of the top 10 crossings. They rank 3, 4, and 6. Watch this, a driver ignores the warning bell and a train is coming.
What can I say? I mean, people needs to pay attention to these railroad crossing flashers.
TDOT says they plan to add a crossing gate, but it's not a fast fix.
TDOT says it'll be a year to a year and a half before they can fix this crossing. The kind of equipment they need, you can't just buy it at the hardware store.
TDOT has a priority list for upgrading its higher risk crossings. But adding lights and gates, that costs about $300,000 per crossing. With a $5 million a year budget to cover the entire state, the money doesn't go very far. We built an interactive map. You can touch on each of these crossings and read more about the accident history there. It's on our News 4 app. I'm Nancy Amons for the I-Team.